Hey guys, so today we're going to be taking a look at the NXEdge Gundam Mk-V. So this is recently released in the NXEdge line, which seems to be kind of slowing down. They were kind of doing like one a month or something, it seemed, and now it seems like they may be kind of giving up on the line a little bit, I want to say, but I don't know. They seem pretty alright. In the past, I've taken a look at one. I took a look at the Banshee, and it was pretty nice. Some of them look nicer than others for sure, but I really like the Sentinel designs, and I really like the design of the Mk-V especially, so I'm really happy that we finally got this. I'm still waiting and hoping that Bandai will make a kit of this at some point, and I'm sure they will. It's only a matter of time. But until then, let's take a look at the NXEdge figure here. So basically, these are like various proportions very similar to the Gundam Converge line, except they're larger and fully articulated and have a lot of weapons and accessories and all of that. So pretty cool. It is just how they come, just a small little box here with some artwork there on the side, or just photographs, I should say. They're on the side, photographs on the other side of some of the stuff that it comes with. Beams for beam saber effect for the beam saber handles there on it. Those can act as cannons as well. So they're kind of similar to the Double Zeta Gundam, how it has the large beam saber handles, which double as beam cannons on its back. And then, of course, it's got its beam rifle there as well. Here on the back, you can see it pictured fighting with the XS Gundam, which is also a kit that I would like to get at some point in the future, or not a kit, a figure, I should say. Would like to get my hands on the XS. I'm just still trying to find one at a good enough price. So, alright, let's get this opened up and see what we got. So behind the main tray, we've got our stand here. Just some clear parts for that, relatively simple. We do have a little instruction book thing here. It's basically just showing how to mount the shield and the beam rifle into the hands, swapping out the different hand options, mounting the shield booster onto the back, swinging up the movable beam cannons and attaching those into the hands for the large beam saber, and then just how to build up the base together, and that's pretty much it. So not going to be all that super involved with a whole bunch of different parts. It's basically just the shield booster here, which right off the bat is committing a cardinal sin of having a seam line all the way right down the center of that. That's no good for something like this. I mean, it is just a figure and not a model kit, but that sucks. That's just too bad that has that. That said, I'm not sure what type of plastic this is, but it feels like it could be polystyrene, in which case I might be able to get rid of that seam line if I'm really invested in that. Also, you'll notice there's the D logo of the Delas Fleet, if I remember correctly is the name of that. I could be wrong, but it's not painted white though, but if you wanted to go ahead and paint that white, you certainly could, and then you'd have that name on there. So it looks like we've only got a couple different hand options. Just these hands, which have these big giant pegs there for plugging into the giant beam sabers, I would imagine. Of course, we have our giant beam saber effect parts here, two of those in just kind of clear pink. We've got the beam rifle, which doesn't really have any pre-painting on it other than just the main color there, so it's a shame they didn't even pre-paint the little camera on there. So hey, it's an opportunity for us to go ahead and do that. And this one again has a big seam line all the way right down the middle. Looks like they tried to kind of paint over it, and it's a little bit hidden in some areas, but definitely there. And then we have the main figure itself. So I'll tell you right off the bat, it's a little bit back heavy here with the giant backpack and everything going on, but it's pretty cool. The legs are looking really short and stocky, chunky. I think this is definitely going to be one that's going to be looking better in aerial poses when you can have those really long feet extended and pointing down to make his legs look a little bit longer. Let's take a look at some of the articulation and everything of this guy. So gotta love the face of the Mk-V. It's just really cool, that face mask there. The eyes and the head camera are painted in a kind of metallic green, but it doesn't shine really brightly unless you catch the light right. Otherwise, if you're not catching the light right, it actually looks quite dark. You see a little bit there on the top of the head as well for this camera. And then I would assume on the back of the head, but nope, actually not. Nothing on the back of the head. So I'll probably just go ahead and repaint those, as I'm probably planning on just repainting most, if not all of this thing anyway, eventually. But back to the articulation, the head does go up really far, nice there, down all the way to there, quite good. The shoulder joint will swing forward a little bit, it's actually pretty nice. You got the missile pods up here on the top, which don't seem to be able to be removed if you wanted to. Looks like those are kind of fixed in there permanently. But they can be rotated like this, so you can rotate those actually side to side. So there you go, so those are just on a hinge in there, so you can rotate those. So that's pretty cool. This flap under the shoulder armor looks like it might be able to be moved, but it's not. It's actually molded all together with that. So you're only going to be able to bring the arm up to there, about less than 90 degrees, not too much. One thing too that you'll just notice here, fantastic detail everywhere on this. Once this thing is all like detailed up and painted up, it's going to look really, really nice. There's a lot of detail there to enjoy. So the elbow bend is going to get a little bit more than 90 degrees. That's not too bad. And then the hand, I'd assume, is just going to rotate, as that's just on a peg there. So again, we've got our holding hands here, and then our weapon holding hands, or these hands for holding the giant beam sabers. So that's pretty much it in terms of hand options. Just kind of wish that we had closed fists or at least one open hand or something. That would have been nice. In the stomach section, we're not going to have any articulation there except for a little bit of rotation side to side. The front skirt and back skirt here don't move at all. The side skirts are kind of like a little bit softer plastic, so those will move a little bit, but not like actual articulation. They're just like flexible basically. And so you can get the legs out to about there, and then forward really not all that far because that front skirt doesn't move at all. From his tiny thigh to this very large chunky lower leg, we do have a pretty good knee bend though. If you bend that, it's quite tight, so just be a little bit careful with that. As you can see, I guess that's about 90 degrees or so, that bend there at the knee, pretty cool. And as we just saw not too long ago, the feet will point down quite far to there, forward to about there, and then the ankles can move side to side just a little bit for getting probably about as wide as a stance as you're going to need for it to be standing up. Back around to the backpack. These parts up here at the top don't move, but these parts here at the side will move for mounting the cannons forward. You just kind of swing those around, and then they're just pointing forward like that. There you go, like that, for when they're in use. And these effect parts are meant to be for when it's held as a beam saber, but of course you could use these for when you're just using those as a cannon as well, and you end up looking something like that. So overall, pretty cool, pretty nice. Let's get this stand here put together and see how this is going to look when it's actually posed up. So we've got the main plate of the stand here, and then you've got these three things which are looking kind of strange. What are these? These are meant so that you can plug multiple stands on top of each other, sort of like stacking them. So if you had a different stand, you could then plug that up here onto the higher section of that and have them stood up. I guess that's what those are meant to be for. That's what I'm gleaming from the manual, which is, fortunately, in Japanese and English, so you can read all of that if you need. And we've got our main part for the actual articulated part of the base. Now this looks to be, unfortunately, the kind of part that doesn't actually move. You have to take it apart and then move that and then put it back together, which is kind of annoying. But that is just going to work like so. And let's give it a try. So there you go. I think this is looking pretty dang cool. Up on an action base, it's definitely looking much better, freed from the chains of gravity, as you might say. And yeah, definitely. Well, when I had it just standing up, just because of how chunky the legs were, it was looking a bit odd. I have to say, maybe I needed to change up the pose a little bit, set the feet a little bit wider apart or something. But up on an action base, it definitely looks a lot better, I think, for sure. And even just straight out of the box, it's pretty nicely detailed with all the pre-painting and the little parts in different colors there that you do have. All the white bits, of course, do help to break up the blue quite a bit. But again, I think it's going to look so much better if you go in and do some painting on this. Even if you don't want to paint the whole thing, just paint in some of the details, do some panel lining on there, even throw a few decals on. And then nice coat of top coat, and this thing will be looking pretty cool for sure. Still disappointed that we have the big seam line down the middle of the shield booster and the beam rifle, but yeah, I think it's a pretty cool figure for sure, and it definitely makes a good placeholder while waiting for the kit. Really hoping that we get the kit either in the HG or the RE100 line. I think either way could go, will be really cool. Very, very unlikely and almost impossible, I think, that we would ever get it in a master grade line, but yeah, who knows? I don't know. Strange things have happened. I also think this will look really good next to the NXEdge Style XS once I get my hands on one of those. Once I do, of course, I'll do a review for that for you guys as well, and we'll take a look at them side by side. That's really pretty much it for this review, guys. Let me know if there's anything else that you did want to know about this. Any questions or comments that you guys might have, feel free to leave those down in the comment section below. What do you guys think of the NXEdge line in general? If it is on the dying side, are you guys happy that it's gone? Are you collecting them? Are you sad that it's going to be gone? Was there any releases that you wanted? What are some of your favorite releases if you got them? And what are some of the designs that you maybe wish would have come out in the line or might possibly come out in the future of the line? Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time.